How bad do you want success? You gotta understand that when God gives you a vision, when God puts something in your spirit, when He gives you an idea, you gotta bring the idea to pass. And see, you gotta understand this is that faith without works is dead. You see, God can give you something, but it's up to you whether you choose to implement it or not. I'll give you an example. God might have given you the idea to go out and start your own business. You know, He might have given you a type of business to start, whether that's like a music company, like gospel, or He might have given you the idea to start like a Christian clothing line. He might have given you the idea to start a fishing company. Whatever it is that God has given you, according to His will. You see, God can give you a vision, but it's up to you to bring it to pass. My thing is, how bad do you want success? Because you gotta understand that nowadays, many people, they're not hungry for success. Many people are not striving for success. You see, nowadays, if you want to be successful in life, you gotta understand that when God gives you a vision, you gotta be hungry to bring it to pass. Faith without works is dead. I'll say it again. You see, if you're not hungry, then you just sit down stagnant, and then you won't have no ambition, you won't have no productivity to bring it to pass. That's how a person can have a million talents. I've seen this with my own eyes, right? I've seen people to where they got so many talents. They could paint, they could do construction, they could do a lot of stuff in hardware, they could build stuff, they can even build their own houses. They're so talented they could build like 10 houses for themselves. But guess what? Laziness. You see, they have a bunch of skills. They could easily go out and start their own construction company and make thousands, millions per year. They could easily build themselves like 10 houses for themselves easily because they're very talented. But guess what? Laziness. You see, when you're lazy, when you're not hungry for success, you have all the talents in the world, but then you just be sitting back, letting people who might not even have your specific type of skills to pass you. You might have the skills to do construction. You might have the skills to build like 10 houses for yourself. But due to laziness, because you're not hungry, because you're not striving to go out and succeed, a person who doesn't have your skills, they might not have been in construction as long as you. They might not, know how to properly build a house. But guess what? They can learn over time and end up surpassing. You know why? Because they took the time to go after success. They kept improving to a point they got good at it. Now look. They're sitting on the top while you're sitting at the bottom. Probably still stuck living in someone else's house or wherever you live. You know why? Because you are not hungry for success. And we can use it for any skill set. Whatever skill set you want to talk about. God might have given you the ability to sing, right? You might have the best voice that's walking around right now in your neighborhood. Well, guess what? Because you don't want to put the time in and do music. You don't want to put the time in to enhance your voice. You sit down, you become lazy, you become complacent, you become stagnant, you don't really care no more. And a person who might not be able to sing as good as you, they're talented in their own way. They're talented in their own way that God made them. But guess what? They end up developing their voice, and now they end up surpassing you. Why is that? The reason that is because they took the time to get better. They took the time to improve their skills. They took the time to get better, and they were hungry for success. So they kept chasing all the way until now they're a great singer. You see, you gotta be hungry for success. You see, nowadays, you got a lot of people nowadays to where they don't want this. Like, a lot of people nowadays, it's like they just want people to just go and just push them to success. It's like they just want success to fall into their hands. Like, no, it don't work like that. Especially when I talk about the area of entrepreneurs. You got so many people, right? You got a lot of people to where they want to be entrepreneurs. The amount of people I see who want to start their own business, they're looking for 2, 3, 4 businesses, 5, 6. They're looking for a bunch of businesses, right? But yet, they're sitting down all day. They're not doing nothing. You want to be a business owner. You don't want to work the 9 to 5 no more. You tired of working for people. All that's nice and all that. But what are the steps you're taking? Money is not just going to fall in your hands. Success is not just going to fall in your hands. You got to go after it. You got to push. You got to strive. It's like nowadays people don't want to push. People don't want to strive. People just want like success to fall in their hands. It don't work like that. You got to be willing to go all the way out. I made a video about this a few months ago, right? In the video I said when God gave you a vision. You see, God can give you a vision. But it's up to you to where you got to bring it to pass. You got to be hungry for success, man. You got to be willing to put the work in. If God gave you the ability to where you know how to do computers good, you know how to do software, you know how to fix computers, how to do updates, then guess what? You got to put that talent to use. You might have to go out fix your friends' computers, enhance your skills. Then guess what? You could probably say, open up your own computer company. You could you get better over time, and next thing you know, now you're very talented at it. Now you could fix any computer in the world, any talent you name. God has given many of his people, a lot of you people, great gifts. He has given many of you guys great talents. But what are you doing with it? How hungry are you for success? You gotta want success. You can't just be stuck complacent. And nowadays, you got too many Christians, right? To where I see too many of them, they're stagnant. They just comfortable in their situation. They're comfortable living in the ghetto. They're comfortable living in the projects. They're comfortable they're comfortable living paycheck to paycheck. My thing is, when are you going to break that spirit of stagnancy? You can do more. You can achieve greater in life. Of course, we always got to be grateful, because, of course, we always grateful. We thank God for what he has done for us. We thank God for all the doors he opened for us. We thank God for even just giving us another day of life on this planet, because many people did not make it to see today. But we got to be striving to do more. God doesn't just want you to be sitting down complacent, just sit down stagnant. No, he wants you to go after more. He wants you to be more successful. He wants you to be operating at your best ability. If you stuck working at 9 to 5 and they barely paying you, you're worth like $40 an hour due to all the skill set, due to how intelligent you are. You know that you built to work for yourself. You could easily go out and start your own company and be successful. But guess what? Now you got some people, they got those skills, they got those traits, right? But yet they stuck and they comfortable working at a job paying them $15 an hour. Brother, sister, you deserve more than that. One thing about many of these jobs, they don't like to pay employees their true worth. Because at these jobs, you gotta sometimes deal with hard customers, hard managers. I understand it, man. Trust me, I've been through it. That's what I'm saying. For you people, man, when God give you a vision, be hungry for success, man. How bad do you want success? Please be willing to go all the way out for your God-given talents. And God has equipped many of you guys with great talents. Do not let it be wasted. Do not leave this planet let your gifts and talents be left behind, while someone, especially a person who don't even believe in God, comes and surpasses you. No, I sometimes see more people in the world who are more productive, who have the spirit to where they want to just go after what they want. I just wish more followers of Christ would do that, because we would be even more successful in the world. You know why? Because we got God on our side. And when you got God on your side, you're going to be even more successful, because God, the Most High, going to lead you to the right vision. And guess what? He's going to make sure that your vision comes to pass. He's going to make sure that you're successful. You think God is just happy with his people just being stuck in poverty, his people just being stuck at the bottom, while people in the world, they surpassing God's people. They taking all the jobs. They becoming entrepreneurs, where God's people sit back and just stuck at the bottom. No, God not happy with that. He wants his people to become successful. He wants us to be our best ability. That's what the Most High God wants for us. That's what God wants for us. You think God just happy? You just sitting down, you stuck in the projects, you could barely pay your rent, you working like a hog all day. You working these hard shifts at work, and they only pay you like $14 an hour, $15 an hour. You could barely survive. You live in paycheck to paycheck, and yet you think that's God's will for your life? If you just be stuck stagnant like that? No, God wants more for you. He wants you to be operating at your best, at your maximum potential. That's what the Most High wants for you. That's what God wants for you. He wants you to be at your best. It's sad nowadays. You got a lot of Christians where they adopted the poverty mindset. And I've done multiple videos about this. Listen, God's people in the Bible were blessed. David blessed. Abraham blessed. King Solomon, God made King Solomon the richest man to walk this planet. Look at Moses. God led Moses to lead the children of Israel out of bondage. God's people in the Bible were blessed. They were prosperous. They were not just stuck struggling and just stuck at the bottom and they didn't want nothing in life. No. Even Jesus himself was a hard worker. Before Jesus Christ came in to do God the Father as well, he was a carpenter. You know what I'm saying? Even Jesus Christ was doing something. You got some followers of God nowadays. Some people to where they don't want to do nothing. Like you're a grown man. You're a grown man in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. You're not working. You're sitting down. You playing PlayStation all day. You let your girlfriend go out, and she gotta go to work while you sit down and play PlayStation all day. You sit down, you comfortable in your parents' house. They pay all the bills. They gotta go to work while you sit down and sleep all day, not do nothing. You're not even looking to start your own business. You're not looking to even start your own business. I understand many people, because trust me, man, I have the same mindset. I don't want to be working at 9 to 5 my whole life. I definitely don't. I don't even work for myself. But guess what? I gotta put the work in. God gave me a vision. I gotta put that work in. What good is it? What good is the vision that God gave me if I'm not willing to put the work in? The vision is just basically a waste of time. And nowadays, you got a lot of people to where they don't want to put the work in. They just want to go out. They want to stay home, sit down, and sleep all day, play video games, watch Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime videos, whatever, Apple TV. Not want Max TV, not want to put no work in, just complacent, just procrastinating, wasting their time, wasting the time that God gave them. You gotta understand, man, God gave you that vision. You gotta be hungry for it. You gotta be hungry to bring it to pass. And guess what? When that vision come to pass, God told you to become an entrepreneur, start your own business. Guess what? When you're making that 6 and 7 figures, then you could sit down and start to relax for a bit. You could then sit down and, of course, ain't nothing wrong with watching movies, you know. But still, though, don't let it waste your time. But let your success come to pass. Ain't nothing wrong with sitting down, you know, watching a nice movie, watching a nice TV show. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But make sure that you're not wasting so much time doing that. Make sure you're not spending more time in bed, spending more time watching Netflix than you are working on your God-given dreams and goals. No, do not become that type of person, man. Do not become that. Cause I see too many people, especially young generation, they becoming like that. They just sitting down relying on their parents to take care of them. They're sitting down, just sitting down playing video games all day. While their mom, their dad, sometimes their parents are single parents, single mom, single dad. They go out, they go to work, while the kid just sits down all day. I believe a couple years ago, I saw like a story in New York City. A guy's mom told him to go get a job, but he killed his own mom. Like, how could you kill your own mom? Like, what's wrong with you? His mom told him to go get a job, but he ended up killing her. You know, I not only was he demon possessed, but guess what? He didn't want to go nowhere in life. He just wanted to sit down with his mom, take care of him, pay all the bills, while he sits down and just play PlayStation all day, play Xbox all day. Sit down and sleep all day. Sit down and watch movies and TV all day. No, that man was not hungry for success. I don't want any of you guys to be anything like that. Be hungry for success, man. Go after. Of course, don't make success your idol God, because God himself will supply your needs. But you know, when God gives you a vision, faith without works is dead. You gotta be willing to bring it to pass. You gotta be willing to work hard. You know what I'm saying? Even Jesus was a hard worker. Look how hard he worked for King of Heaven. Jesus worked so hard to the point he even died for us. That's how much he loved us. But nevertheless, guys, let's not let the spirit of stagnancy overtake us. Alright, so just let this message be a great blessing unto you. And do not be afraid to go after success. But anyway, guys, take care and have a blessed day.